Have you thought how amazing websites are developed in this world? You might have seen tons of websites in day-to-day life, from social networking websites to blogs. Coming to social media websites, we might have seen how posts of our friends are automatically updated in our screen, or in web developer language we call it as viewport, right? Do you want to know what is the foundation stone for all such amazing inventions? To be specific, most of the modern frameworks or libraries like Angular, React, jQuery, Vue are born here. Who knows? If you know this, you could build your own framework or library in the progressing world. And I want you to do for sure. Hi guys, welcome to MRK Tutorials. Here we are about to learn what is DOM element and also how to use JavaScript in DOM manipulation. The prerequisites of this video are what is DOM, DOM interface, property versus method versus attribute. These three videos in this playlist are really important to watch before this video. This video is a bit longer video because it involves live coding and also live commenting. If you feel the audio is not matching this video, you could mute it and follow along for sure. I mentioned comment everywhere in the code, and if you are new to programming and don't know what comment is, you can Google it, and Google says it as a piece of text placed within a program to help others use to understand it, which the computer ignores when running the program. In our case, it is browser which ignores while running the program. And it is green color with 2 slashes at the start to be more specific in the entire code. I will be covering basics of any programming language in upcoming videos, so please do subscribe and share to all your friends. For those who already saw my past 2 videos, that is DOM interface and property versus method versus attribute, in this playlist, this video will be more easy. So, what are DOM elements? Element object represents an HTML element or SVG element. Element is the most general base class from which all the element objects that represent these elements in a document are inherited. It only has methods, properties common to all kinds of elements. Let's start coding. Open Visual Studio Code. All the codes are pushed to GitHub repo and the link is mentioned in the description below. I don't want to code directly, so I searched a Navbar in Google and found one in CodePen. You might have seen the code mostly written in HTML CSS. I would like to slightly replicate it with only JavaScript and also add CSS using JavaScript. Of course, throughout the video, I will be sharing other ways we could do this too. And at the end of the video, I will be sharing what are the topics covered in this video. Please follow comments for easy understanding. At first, I will be creating one Navbar element using createElement method, and I will be putting it into the body tag. So document.body is easier way to access body tag, and we are appending our navbar to it. It will directly append our navbar at the end. So I wanted to add a div element with a container class and access it using 2 ways like querySelector or getElementByClassName. QuerySelector is used to access DOM using CSS selectors. In CSS, we will be writing like .className #ID. So similar way, we can be accessing using query selector. GetElementByClassName is used to access all the elements with the class name property. Since classes can be used multiple times throughout the DOM, when we access them with this DOM method, we get a collection of HTML elements. We will be adding li elements to Navbar element. There are two ways. Here we use dynamic way and static way. A static way increases number of lines of code and also some work. If you want to add few changes to it in the future, we need to again copy paste the code and make changes accordingly. But dynamic way is easier and one-time kind of setup thing. Which helps to make changes easy. Being web developer, you must be accepting more changes, and dynamic way is more handy as changes are common ritual in our daily life. Finally, we add some CSS using style property of an element. If you want to look all the properties of an element, go to MDN docs, or you can use console.dir to log what the HTML element in the console. If you want to look all the properties of an element, go to MDN docs, or you can even use console.dir to log what the HTML element has properties in the console tab in DevTools. You might have observed by putting class, it is not assigning any class, because class name is a property and class is an attribute that invokes that class name property. As we discussed in property versus method versus attribute video, we can invoke an property using an attribute. These are things covered in this video: creating an element, accessing an element, using property of an element, CSS manipulation of element, using attribute to invoke property right way, dynamically adding elements to DOM, accessing element using CSSOM Selector, or that is query selector.